Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, in this video, we are going to cover the current affairs of 16th of May. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app, and there you can get the current affairs in quiz format as well as in easy digest format for quick revision. And this is how you can attempt the quiz in that GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. This is the name of Telegram channel, GKToday YouTube, and this is a link. Now make sure that you follow the right channel because there are a lot of fake channel with the same name. So make sure you check this link, or you can directly join it through the link given in the description box. One more thing, we have started a new channel and the name is Civils Academy. You can subscribe it by going through list of channels in this GKToday YouTube channel section, or you can directly subscribe it by searching in YouTube. This is the profile picture. Now let's start. As per the announcement of Finance Minister, what is the limit of government procurement up to which global tenders will not be allowed? So recently, Prime Minister announced a special economic package, and Prime Minister also emphasized vocal for local. That means we need to promote our local products and we need to be vocal about them. Therefore, to promote the indigenous products and to promote the self-reliance for the projects up to 200 rupee crores, foreign companies will not be allowed. That means only Indian companies can take part in the bidding of projects up to rupee 200 crores. So recently, Union Finance Ministry announced a relief package following the announcement by the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister announced it as Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana. What is Atmanirbhar? It means self-reliant. What is the liquidity infusion fund allotted for DISCOMS in the recent economic stimulus package? So DISCOMS means distribution companies. So these companies are responsible for the distribution of electricity, and recently the Finance Ministry announced rupee 90,000 crore for one-time liquidity injection for the DISCOMS, and this will be used to pay the central public sector power generation companies. See, there are two different type of companies. One is power generation companies and one is DISCOM. So these companies generate power and then DISCOMs purchase power from these companies and then they distribute it. So this liquidity infusion will help DISCOMs to pay back to the power generation companies. Now in the context of power sector, there is Power Finance Corporation. Answer in comment box recently who was appointed as the chief of Power Finance Corporation recently. What is the percentage reduction in the rates of TDS and TCS as per the recent economic package? What is TDS? It is tax deduction at shows, and what is TCS? It is tax collection at shows. So recently, Union Finance Ministry proposed rupee 50,000 crores of liquidity by reducing the TDS and TCS for certain payments including interest, dividend, rent payment and other payments by non-individuals. So as per the recent announcement, the rates of TDS for non-salaried payments made to the residents and rate of TCS for receipts will be reduced by 25% of existing rate. So this reduction in the rates will be effective from the 14th of May 2020, and this will remain effective till 31st of March of 2021. So the reduction is 25% of the existing rates. What is the rank of India in recently released Global Energy Transition Index of World Economic Forum? So recently WEF released this Energy Transition Index, and as per this index, India is on 74th position. So we have already covered this news in our yesterday's news section. So as per this index, India is on 74th position while Sweden is on top. The report is released by World Economic Forum. The headquarters of World Economic Forum is in Switzerland, and it also published gender gap report. As per that report, India is on 112nd position, while Bangladesh is a top performer in South Asia. Which city is the venue of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit of 2020? So recently, the foreign ministers meeting of SCO held through video conferencing, and from Indian side, our External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jayasankar participated. Now, SCO is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Headquarters of SCO is in Beijing. Beijing is in China. Total 8 countries are the members of SCO. Out of these 8 countries, 2 are Russia and China, 2 are India and Pakistan, and rest 4 countries are Central Asian countries except Turkmenistan. Now, India and Pakistan became the full-fledged member after Astana Summit of 2017, and this year's SCO Summit is scheduled to be in St. Petersburg in Russia. Recently, Russia was in news as Mikhail Mishustin was named as the Prime Minister of Russia. Apart from that, recently meeting of foreign ministers of BRICS nation was organized in the context of COVID-19. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And recently, BRICS was also in news as BRICS Development Bank, which is now known as New Development Bank, announced $1 billion loan for India to fight against COVID. The headquarters of New Development Bank is in Shanghai. Answer in comment box, who is the president of New Development Bank? Which organization released a report titled Global Forest Resource Assessment, that is FRA 2020? So this report was released by FAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization. We have discussed this question in yesterday's news section. Now, the headquarters of FAO is in Rome in Italy, and recently Italy was in news as it is going to be the host of 2021 G20 Summit. This year, Saudi Arabia is the host. Now recently, the extraordinary G20 Virtual Trade and Investment Summit of G20 was organized, and it was under the presidency of Saudi Arabia. And from Indian side, Mr. Piyush Goyal participated in this G20 Virtual Trade and Investment Ministerial meeting. Now coming back to Italy, Italy was also in news as Italy is the host of 2026 Winter Olympic Games, while China is the host of 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Italy was also in news because of I Feel You. So these are the bracelets developed by Italy to ensure social distancing. Which organization is implementing agency of Prime Minister Employment Generation Program? So it is KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. And recently KVIC was also in news as after the announcement of Prime Minister to support local products, KVIC announced a set of guidelines to fast track the implementation of projects under PMEGP, that is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. That means now the projects under this PMEGP will be fast tracked to ensure that we are promoting local products. Now KVIC is under MSME Ministry. Recently KVIC was in news as it partnered with Titan for Khadi wristwatches. KVIC was also in news as recently it started silk processing plant in Gujarat in Surendranagar district, and this plant will help in the silk processing for patola saris. As per the recent transparency report released by Facebook, which nation sought for the highest number of user data? So USA was on top position as per this transparency report released by Facebook, and the government request for user data increased 9.5% during the second half of 2019. What is the meaning of government request for user data? It means the government authorities requested Facebook to provide the data of specific user. So as per this report, USA is on top, and USA is followed by India and UK. Now this report also highlighted that India topped the list of internet disruptions affecting the Facebook services, and in entire 2019, 40 times internet was disrupted in our country. Now coming back to USA. So recently USA was in news because of Taiwan, as USA is trying to get an observer status for Taiwan in WHO. And for this purpose, recently US Senate directed the Secretary of State to ensure that Taiwan get a observer status in WHO. USA was also in news because of NASA, as NASA developed Vital. Vital is a ventilator. NASA is the space agency of USA. USA was also in news as recently US President nominated Ashok Michael Pinto as US representative to IBRD. USA was also in news because of OECD, as recently Indo-American diplomat Manisha Singh was nominated as US envoy to OECD. Now answer in comment box whether India is a member of OECD or not. As per the recent study of CMIE, what is the number of Indian workers in age group of 20 to 39 who lost their jobs in April 2020? So as per this report of CMIE, what is CMIE? It is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. So as per its report, nearly 6 crore Indian workers in the age group of 20 to 39 lost their jobs in April. The CMIE, it is a think tank based in Mumbai. So this report highlighted that due to lockdown, 12 crore people lost their jobs. Out of them, 6 crore are in the age group of 20 to 39. EcoRap, that was in news recently, is the research report of which institution? So it is a research report of State Bank of India. And recently it was in news as it has revised the baseline fiscal deficit to 7.9% of revised GDP. It is more than double to its previous estimation. The previous estimation was 3.5% of GDP. Now, because government is trying to spend more and more to revive the economy, obviously fiscal deficit will be high. Now answer in comment box what is the difference between fiscal stimulus and monetary stimulus. Which state has commenced training for primary school teachers via its KITE Victers channel? So this is a decision by state government of Kerala for training for the primary school teachers, and this was done through KITE Victers channel and mobile application. So with the help of this platform, teachers are given training to use online and virtual facilities so that they can teach their students. Kerala was also in news because of Kochi, as recently India's first LNG bus service was started in Kochi. And recently Australia became the largest exporter of LNG by replacing Qatar. Capital of Qatar is Doha, and recently US Taliban deal was signed in Doha. Taliban is a militant group of Afghanistan. What is the name of first automated testing machine procured by the government of India for testing of COVID-19 cases? So the name of this machine is Cobas 6800, and this was procured recently, and this machine was developed by Roche Diagnostic. So this machine has been installed in NCDC. What is NCDC? It is National Center for Disease Control, and this institution is under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So this COBAS 6800 is a fully automated machine which performs real-time PCR testing for COVID-19, and this machine was installed in NCDC in New Delhi. As per the recent definition of MSME, which criteria has been added along with investment? So as a part of economic stimulus package, the government has revised the definition of MSME. What is MSME? It is micro, small and medium enterprises. So as per the revised guidelines, a new criteria has been added, and it is annual turnover. So for micro enterprises, the classification covers up to rupee 1 crores in investment and rupee 5 crores in terms of turnover. For small enterprises, it is 10 crore of investment and 50 crores of turnover. And for medium enterprises, it is 20 crores of investment and 100 crores of turnover. Hope that is helping out people everywhere portal is an initiative of which Indian state? So we have already discussed this yesterday, and it is an initiative of Uttarakhand government to assist the workers to find suitable employment, and the data collected under this project will be used for implementing the Mukhyamantri Swarojgar Yojana. So these were the important quiz questions of today's quiz. Now we are going to cover important news. Now you can skip these news if you want current affairs only in question answer format. So the first news is related to Federal Bank, as Federal Bank tied up with MoneyGram for direct to bank deposit service. So which two organizations collaborated? One is Federal Bank, another one is MoneyGram. Why they collaborated? For direct to bank deposit services. Next news is related to World Bank, as recently World Bank approved $1 billion social protection package for our country. The chief of World Bank is David Malpass. Next is related to Vice Admiral G.M. Hiranandani Memorial Trophy. So recently it was in news because for 2020, Lieutenant Commander Akshay Kumar was awarded this Vice Admiral G.M. Hiranandani Memorial Trophy for 2020, and this award ceremony held at the Maritime Warfare Center in Kochi in Kerala. Next news is related to International Family Day, and it was observed on 15th of May. Next is related to WTO, that is World Trade Organization. The headquarters of WTO is in Geneva, and recently it was in news as the head of WTO announced that he is going to step down from his post on 31st of August before the end of his tenure. And the name of WTO head is Roberto Azevedo. So he is from Brazil, and he announced that he is going to step down from his post before the end of his tenure. His tenure was about to end in 2021. Next news is related to West Bengal, as recently state government of West Bengal started Matir Smriti scheme to utilize the barren land to generate employment opportunities. A similar decision was taken by Jharkhand government, where they announced 3 schemes for employment generation. One was to develop sports grounds, another one was to ensure afforestation on the government land, and third scheme was to develop the infrastructure for water storage. Next news is related to World Economic and Situation. Next news is related to World Economic Situation and Prospectus Report, and this report was released by United Nations. Next is related to REPF. What is REPF? It is Rice Export Promotion Forum. So this REPF was set up by Government of India to promote the export of rice, and this has been set up under APEDA. What is APEDA? It is Agricultural and Processed Food Export Promotion Agency, and this agency is under Commerce Ministry. Now answer in comment box which organization recommends anti-dumping duty. So you have to answer 2 questions. First is which organization recommends this anti-dumping duty, and second is that which organization enforce this recommendation. Next news is related to Defense Ministry, as recently Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh commissioned Indian Coast Guard ship Sachet and 2 interceptor boats C-450 and C-451. So these were inaugurated in Goa via video conferencing, and because of the pandemic situation, this is first time that a Coast Guard ship was commissioned through digital medium. So Sachet is Indian Coast Guard ship. Next news is related to Slovenia, as it became the first country in Europe to declare an official end of COVID-19 pandemic. So as per them, they have controlled this and they became the first country in Europe to do so. Next question is related to Maharashtra, as recently Maharashtra was in news as it is going to be the host of 11th Hockey India Senior Men's national championship in 2021. So this is going to be hockey championship, and Maharashtra is going to be the host of this event. On the other hand, recently Uttar Pradesh was in news, as recently state government decided to provide 50% subsidy on the PPE kits to the hospitals. What is PPE? It is personal protective equipments. Uttar Pradesh was also in news as it was the first state to start pool testing. It was the first state to start geotagging of community kitchens. And for this purpose, Uttar Pradesh partnered with Google. Uttar Pradesh is the first state to have in-house virtual court. Uttar Pradesh was also the first state in our country where hospitals in all 75 districts have ventilator facility. Next news is related to Zambezi River. So this river was in news because of Victoria Fall, as recently this Victoria Falls was reopened after 2 months closure. So this waterfall is on this Zambezi River, and it is in Africa, and it is in Zambia. Next news is related to SMART scheme. So this scheme is to be implemented by NIT Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is in Haryana. So this SMART scheme is a communication technology scheme, and it was started by Ministry of Human Resource Development. Next news is related to World Health Ministers Meet. So in this meeting, our Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan participated through video conferencing, and the theme of this meeting was delivering a coordinated Commonwealth COVID-19 response. And this meeting was the meeting of health ministers of Commonwealth nations. Answer in comment box recently which country rejoined the Commonwealth. And last news is related to Event Bolt. So this is a malware. Malware means a software with malicious intentions, and recently CERT has issued warning against this malware, and this malware steals the personal financial information from the Android phone users. Now what is CERT? It is Computer Emergency Response Team. Now answer in comment box, it is under which union ministry? So these were the most important questions and most important news. Thank you for your time, and that's all for the day.